Hi, I'm Jessica.
And I'm Tracy.
And this is She's on Top, the place where we celebrate and elevate women.
And today we're talking with Ellie Johnson. Now, Ellie is a multidimensional practitioner in natural medicine. She's a clinical nutritionist with an Ayurveda and Chinese medicine background, and she's also a Western herbalist. I met Ellie at the beginning of this year, and when she told me her story, I really was so blown away and so inspired, and I wanted to help her in any way that I could. This is a woman who had a life-changing accident at the age of 16, and she turned it around and made it into a life-changing mission.
She is so incredible. There were so many takeaways from this interview, but what struck me the most was her passion about the word play. I mean, her website is called Mastery of Play. And it's funny, the word play has come up with a number of the women that we've interviewed and who are part of our community. Truthfully, we could literally do a playlist on the word play, pun intended.
Yes, I totally agree. And the thing that I like about Ellie so much is that she's all about giving back. And her latest project is a virtual marathon to support children who need safe places to play. You can learn all about it and how you can help. But first of all, let's find out how it all began. Hi, Ellie.
Hi, Ellie.
Hi, guys.
We are so thrilled you're here. I'm especially thrilled you're here because, just so our audience knows, I met you in, I think it was January in India. We were on this incredible retreat with Gian Vimal. We can talk more about that later. And you and I started talking. I think we started talking actually over photos. We were comparing photos one day. And then you told me your story. And I was just so blown away and inspired by your story. So I'd love if you can share that with our audience today.
Yeah, so I was just taking a summer off from athletics and just the last year before I entered into my last year of high school. And I was hit by a car, and it took a couple of months. We didn't really realize the significance of the injuries that I had, primarily because for most people, if they weren't athletic, it wouldn't have maybe made a big impact. But for me, I started to pursue sports back in high school, and I just couldn't. I wasn't walking normally again or anything. And so we went through a series of diagnostics, and I walked into a room, and I literally was given the biggest smack in the face I've ever had in my life. I was told by the doctor that conclusively that they could not do anything for me, and that my knee was pretty shattered, that I wouldn't walk normally again. All athletic pursuits were out of the question. And for me, I just started into this opportunity of athletics. I'd been approached and had made the first select team for our national field hockey team. I was being approached by universities to go on a scholarship for other sports, softball. I was a pitcher, and just everything that I thought about my future had sort of ended at that moment. And I just kind of stalled out in life. I was just in that shocked position.
Yeah. So, I mean, I remember you told me that, it was so devastating. This was your life. Your life was sports. This was how you saw your future, but you turned it around. You didn't listen to those doctors, or you listened initially. And what did you do to change that? Because I know now you run marathons. I mean, how did you change it around?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's really important how I actually dealt with it initially, which was to believe it. Right. So, and that gave me, I guess that would have been, back then we really didn't look at it, but the depth of depression for a young adult to go through. I did have a brain, thankfully, and I did go enter into university, and I was pursuing medical studies, but I just felt like hollow and kind of empty with all of that. And so just by this coincidence, I ended up working in a health food store, the granola hippie store. That was my judgment of the whole thing. And they were talking about all these, how you use nutrients to transform the body and so on and so forth. And there was a lot of it because I had a medical background, or my family had a medical background. And even though I ate healthy, I didn't really buy into this idea. So I kind of went on this self-experiment of showing that this stuff didn't work. And so the typical hypothesis, well, if I do this, this is going to, well, the hypothesis was wrong. My theory was wrong. As I started to, change my diet, change the chemistry of my body, which was my background. I was pursuing biochemistry, so I did understand the science of it, but I changed everything really. Started taking in a lot of nutrients that are now mainstream now, glucosamine sulfate, but they back then were new. And then I also started to really transform how I thought about things too, which is another piece and element, probably what ended up being part of the Indian journey. And then also just how I treated my body, that my body needed to get strong and balanced. So I pursued different ways of strengthening my body. I was reading continuous things about how to strengthen your knees and your hips, and I was taking on just different views of everything, and every obstacle that was an obstacle now became an opportunity. It's like, how can I change this, and what is the steps that could change this, and it changed that perspective of how I looked at things. And if we fast forward this 5 years from the time into my 20s, I started running, of all things.
I'm fascinated because Tracy introduced me to your story, and I went and looked on your website, and I love that it's called Mastery of Play. Mm-hmm. Because, we have another woman that we did an interview, Janet Olmstead, and she's part of, the She's on Top members group. She had 3 near-death experiences, and she is passionate about the same thing, getting women active, but she said she calls it play because people treat it, I think sometimes people treat it as a chore, or they feel sort of like it's, on their to-do list. And she's like, we stop playing. Do you find, why is it mastery of play? How do you connect that word into what you do?
Yeah, so both words are significant. Play is a place of creation. So, and that sounds almost whimsical, but if you think of a child, they're literally creating an environment for themselves to pursue what I call ultimate bliss or joy. And so in that playful state as adults, because I don't want to downplay the word play as something that is childish. It's not childish. It is that ultimate joy and place that you're completely in it, and it's a dance. And I speak of that a lot. Many that know me speak when I run, I talk about dancing, trail dancing, and your different partners and stuff like that. And it's just that ultimate place of allowing your body to physically create a joyful experience. That's how I would describe play.
That's so beautiful. And talking of children, I know that when we spoke earlier, you mentioned that you are doing you're doing a project right now to raise money for children. And so could you tell us a little bit about that? Because obviously, we would love to promote what you're doing and give you some help, raising some funds for that.
So in November of 2019, I applied for the New York Marathon, and lo and behold, I actually got in. And it's one of the most coveted marathons in the world, beyond the Boston Marathon, which you qualify for. The New York Marathon is considered part of the 5 biggies. And when you win, and I literally just entered through the general lottery and got in. And so I really wanted, with this like, it's like winning the lottery. I really wanted to make it something that was beneficial for beyond myself, because I knew the joy. I've ran the New York Marathon before, and I remember the kids. I remember the kids in Harlem, and I remember coming through. That's the last borough you come through. It's a little emotional because these kids are coming out, and they really don't have a lot, and they're coming out with little bags of candy and Coke and cheering you on, and you're like a hero. And there's been thousands of people before you and after you, and you're like this hero. And so I said, okay, I really want to run this marathon, but I want to do it for something more. And so I researched a bit, and the New York Roadrunners have a group called the Team for Kids, and they raise money and awareness for kids that don't have safe places to play. And there's various reasons why they don't have safe places to play, but they create the opportunity for safe places to play.
So you're running a virtual marathon. What's a virtual marathon?
So a virtual marathon is something that has come as a result of COVID, with all the major marathons canceled around the world. Where we would run the marathon, which is in New York, is not possible, which means that I'll be running in my local town, Calgary, the distance of a marathon on November 1st, which is the actual date of the New York Marathon. So I will be doing 26.2 or 42.2 kilometers. My obligation to raise money for the Team for Kids was negated because of the cancellation of the marathon. However, my obligation in my heart didn't negate it. And so I'm going to continue to pursue raising money for the New York Roadrunners Team for Kids. And here's why. Because play is important and play is not canceled. And that's a big deal because these kids still have the same issues that, wow, got a little emotional here. These still issues that existed before COVID, and they didn't have safe places to play. Now with COVID, they have less safe places to play.
How can we help you? You know, it sounds amazing. How can we help you?
There's sort of three ways that I'm encouraging people to participate. The first is obviously a donation, and I'm sure we'll find a way to post up the link. The second thing is that I would love to see people participating. I'm not asking them to come and run a marathon. If they want to run a marathon, November 1st, I'm running it in Calgary. Come join me. I do have a few friends that will be there. But I want people to move. I want people to play. I want them to realize that this is an element for your health and that it supports an energetic health of the world. And then the last piece is just to recognize the element of community, and that we are connected, and that whatever we do as individuals, it's not an individual piece.
Well, thank you so much, Ali. That was fantastic. We'll provide all the information in the YouTube description, and we'll put it on our social media channels too, so people can donate and connect with you. And we really appreciate what you're doing, because giving back is so huge. I mean, that's what She's on Top is about too, helping others, community. Jess, over to you.
Yeah, and thank you so much for bringing up the importance of play, because it's, especially during COVID, especially during challenging times, it's a great thing to connect us back to. So thank you for that as well.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much. As I said before, really, truly play is about participating. And all of us today participated a little bit more in transforming humanity. As Deanne Vimal, the founder of Friends to Mankind, would say, is my name is Allison Johnson, and I'm participating in the transformation of humanity. And we do that just like we did today here.
That's beautiful. If you'd like to donate to Ali's cause, it's called Rising New York Roadrunners. And you can also connect with Ali on her website, Mastery of Play. We've put the links below.
And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, we'd love if you would do that now. And leave a comment, because your feedback is great.
Yeah, and we've also just launched a membership program. It's a membership of amazing women entrepreneurs who are dedicated to supporting each other and collaborating so we can all grow.
To find out all the details, just click on the link below.
See you next time.